We are going to go over the differences between the predetermination of benefits and prior authorization. Hi, my name is Melissa DeWeese, and I've been working in the insurance industry for over 20 years now, and I am not a healthcare professional. This is not healthcare advice. This is from the context of a health insurance or medical insurance policy, and the purpose of this video is to help you understand your benefits or your insurance just a little bit better. And let's get to a quick disclaimer. So the information in this video is for general purposes only and should not be considered insurance or medical advice. I am not your insurance broker, and I do not have access to the specifics of your health plan. Coverage details vary by plan. So please refer to your plan documents, including your summary plan description or SPD, or evidence of coverage EOC, for accurate information about your benefits. Additionally, I'm not a medical professional. Nothing in this video should be interpreted as medical advice. Always consult with your doctor or qualified healthcare provider regarding any medical questions, treatments, or decisions. Have you ever had an insurance claim delayed or denied because you didn't get the right approval beforehand? The purpose of this video is to help you clarify the difference between a predetermination of benefits and a prior authorization, because understanding these processes can save businesses or individuals time, money, and employee frustration or consumer frustration. This is coming up because in my past videos, I have talked about briefly predetermination of benefits and why they are so important. So, premise of how I usually explain this is, say you have your car isn't working. It's not going into gear, it's not driving forward, or maybe it's not going into second, or something's going wrong with it. So you take it to a mechanic and you drop it off and you just say, fix it, no matter what. Then you could come back, you get a bill for $10,000. You're like, wait, what? I don't have $10,000. What is going on? Oh, well, you told me just to fix it. Meanwhile, maybe there were, you could have done a couple of different things. Maybe replace the car, not that you can replace your body, so it's not a perfect analogy, but you could have, replace the internals, maybe replace the transmission completely, go get a junkyard transmission. Maybe you have a friend that is a transmission expert. You wanted to take them over there instead of, you think you could get a better deal somewhere else for $10,000. Whatever the case is, not getting a predetermination of benefits from your provider's office is similar to just taking in your vehicle that is broken to a mechanic, dropping it off and saying, fix it no matter what. Now, of course, with our bodies, there are situations where you have to, right? It's an emergency, it's an urgent situation. You have to just, your emergency is fear of life or limb. You got to save your limb, you got to save your life. You've got to move forward, make that decision and bite the bullet no matter what. Yes, we are all, going to be or have been in circumstances like that. But in a situation where you're planning a surgery, you're thinking about a knee replacement, there's so many options with knee surgeries now, and is it a joint replacement? Is it just ACL surgery? Or you're just replacing a tendon with a cadaver tendon? You're just stitching it back together as best you can. What are the options? So predetermination of benefits is similar to getting a quote from your mechanic before getting work done when you can. It starts with your provider. The provider then submits it to the insurance carrier. The insurance carrier runs all the numbers. Your provider fills in all the geeky numbers, which are procedure codes and diagnosis codes. There's a code for every single procedure out there. There's a code for every single diagnosis out there that's covered by insurance and not covered by insurance. And that gets pushed through to the insurance company so they can see exactly how the plan is going to pay out. And then the estimation of coverage is spit back out. The estimated cost, what's going to go towards your deductible, what's going to go towards your max out of pocket. And then you as the patient get to make a decision. So this is a voluntary review. You're asking the insurance company to do a voluntary review to determine if the treatment is covered or not, and how much is covered, and if the providers in network. For example, a dentist submits a predetermination request for a major procedure like a crown to confirm what the plan pays, what's the patient going to be responsible for, and is this particular tooth covered? Sometimes there's missing tooth clauses and all sorts of clauses that can be built into a dental plan that may prevent that crown from even being covered. So the dentist will likely submit a predetermination of benefits and give you a quote before they do the work and get you to sign off on that payment. Right. So that's a predetermination of benefits. It's voluntary. It's before the work is done. You want to know how much things are going to cost you. Now, a prior authorization is different. And what are the key differences? So predetermination of benefits is voluntary. It is not required to get it done to have coverage. It's up to you, the patient, if you want one or not, or sometimes you have to ask for one outright to even get it. But with a prior authorization, it is absolutely required that it be submitted ahead of time. Otherwise, it's not going to be covered at all. What is the purpose of a prior authorization? Well, prior authorization confirms medical necessity before a procedure is done. So this is something the insurance company is requiring before they will even cover the procedure. Where do we see predetermination of benefits versus prior authorization? Predetermination of benefits is most common with dental and elective procedures. So the example of the crown, your dentist is likely going to run automatically without you even being asked predetermination of benefits. With the elective procedures, same thing. So if you're having a surgery, a knee surgery, other elective procedures, things you are planning ahead of time. And with a prior authorization, it can be required for prescriptions, and most common prior authorizations are for prescription drugs and for medical treatments. So predetermination of benefits, how does this affect the claim? How does this affect the outcome of the claim? It doesn't really affect the nuts and bolts of the claim, but it helps you, the consumer, the patient, the employee, the member, understand what your expected costs are and not have as many surprises. It does not guarantee payment, though. It will be in big bold letters somewhere on the predetermination of benefits. Now, with a prior authorization, the claim can be denied if it's not obtained. Now, in some instances, even if you go in and get the procedure done before the prior authorization is completed, most insurance companies and policies have, I think, a 3 to 10 day window where the doctor's office or the radiology department, like it's an MRI, something like that, have a certain amount of time, like 3 to 10 days, I want to say, maybe even up to 2 weeks. Why does it matter for employers and HR professionals? Well, it certainly helps the HR person in understanding employees when they're coming to them with questions, and it'll avoid employee frustration. So these sorts of conversations are had with employees, and employees are educated on these sorts of this kind of terminology. Employees who understand their benefits are more likely to appreciate their benefits. And these processes may help them avoid some unexpected bills. And employees that have unexpected bills and are stressed over medical bills and unexpected bills are less productive, obviously. It will reduce the administrative burden. So you can all be proactive in educating your employees on how their benefits work, and some of these less fun, kind of more legally medical geek speak terminology. Knowing this ahead of time, when they will know when to submit what type of request to providers to prevent unnecessary back and forth with the insurers. And when the back and forth does happen, there tends to be less frustration from the employees because they expect it. They understand why the process is there and are more likely to comply and get less frustrated throughout the process. It will also improve benefits utilization. So instead of an employee being fearful of using their plan, they will feel empowered and confident when using their plan. For education on these kinds of terms can help employees maximize their benefits coverage and utilize the benefits and the plans that you, the employer, have spent so much money and time on. So common mistakes and how to avoid them. So the most common mistake is in assumptions. Assuming predetermination of benefits guarantees payment, and then perhaps later on it doesn't, and that can cause some frustration. I very rarely see this happen, to be honest with you. Again, this is not guaranteed payment from your insurance company. I don't know about your plan specifically, and I'm not your broker. But in my experience, I have not seen this happen very often at all. The only time I have seen this happen is if there's a change in the procedure for some reason. It's either a last minute change, the patient changed their mind about what they wanted done, or once they got in there, like a surgery, something was different than what they had gone in to the procedure, assuming the damage was, let's say, inside a joint or something like that. So in those cases, yeah, it can change. Another common mistake is skipping the prior authorization piece for the required services. Sometimes I've seen a few cases where patients get frustrated and they just go and do it and have to deal with the consequences later. Again, it's completely up to you as the consumer whether you want to jump through all these hoops and get it covered, or just go in and do it and pay out of pocket, pay a cash price. Not educating employees on the processes. So one of the mistakes I see is that employers do not put any effort into educating their employees at all about their benefits. Just a simple meeting at least once a year. I think most employers that spend money on employee benefits do this. But having that time and making a culture within your organization where employees actually attend such meetings. It's not always easy to get employees on board to attending a meeting about insurance. I know, I understand this. There are some strategies you can implement to help herd them along, as they say, herding cats, right? Herd them along, or make it required. You as the employer are spending a lot of money on medical insurance, dental insurance, disability, life. This all adds up and it is part of their compensation. So you can require that employees attend such meetings, or at least some meetings. Melissa, that sounds so awful. How do we avoid all of these mistakes? Well, the first thing is definitely encourage your employees to look at their explanation of benefits. So the explanation of benefits is the black and white in writing from the insurance company. This was the money that was requested, and this is the money that came out and was paid to your provider, and this is how much you owe. So that is a very important document. An employee should understand how to read them. Confirm with the insurer before scheduling the treatment. So asking, is a prior authorization required, and making sure that you understand if it is or it is not. Provide an easy to understand guide at open enrollment. So having some sort of educational visual representation of such terms, of the benefits, and again, communicating in a meeting with spoken word, communicating in written word, and visuals are the best practices. Here's the recap. The recap is understanding the differences between prior authorization and predetermination of benefits can help businesses and their employees avoid unnecessary costs and frustration. So thank you for hanging out until the end. I do have an offer of a free consultation to an employer, a free assessment of their employee benefits to make sure your benefits are up to the current standards of today's employment environment. Thank you for hanging out until the end. I do have a link down below where you can schedule a free assessment with me if you are an employer, HR manager, CEO, CFO, and are interested in finding out whether your employee benefits match the current labor market and are up to date. Happy to help there. Thank you for hanging out until the end, and we'll see you next time.